So my parents always make fun of me because I'm always bringing up these little stories from my childhood, and they're always bad memories. One in particular that comes up was this one time when I was 4 years old. I remember I was 4 years old because I was so proud of myself to be a senior in preschool, and therefore one of the quote-unquote big kids in my class. So one day we were eating our daily lunch that the preschool provided, pasta, and cooked carrots. I was thrilled about this pasta, truly ecstatic, and I ate it all immediately and soon asked for more. And then, tragedy struck. My teacher responded that I cannot have any more cooked carrots. I had to have more cooked carrots if I wanted more pasta. This was a complex internal dilemma for young Phoebe, not because I hated carrots or even vegetables, because I couldn't stand the idea of cooked vegetables. And yes, I know child obesity is an issue and McDonald's is taking over the world, but I never liked cooked vegetables and I never will. Not when I was 4 years old, not when I became vegetarian 3 years ago, and not even that 1 week I stayed vegan. In my defiance to consuming said carrots, my teacher then proceeded to shove a spoonful of carrots into my unwilling mouth. And that moment, I truly felt the world was crashing down. My bold act of defiance was defeated, my face was red with embarrassment, and I had a mouthful of cooked carrots. I'm sure by this time that you're all realizing the story appears to be entirely obsolete, and you're not questioning your entire decision of showing up here and hearing my spiel in the first place. I know I'm definitely perturbed that I remember this silly little memory from when I was 4 years old. Those friggin' Spanish conjugations or trig equations couldn't stick. I have a lot of little stories like this from my childhood. Tiny moments of frustration, guilt, embarrassment that made these memories stick in my head, and they don't really seem to serve a purpose. But they matter. Despite how young I was, or how overdramatic I might be, or how small these problems seem to appear, these memories matter. Why? Because they matter to me. Simple as that. In that moment, I truly felt that my freedom was being taken away from me, and the physical act of these carrots being shoved in my mouth was a violation. So much so that I remember it 12 years later to this day. And I think memories are a really good way to measure what's important to us, because it's what our minds are subconsciously work so hard to save after years and years and information falling into and out of our heads with homework and quizzes and tests. What remains has to be significant. It has to. And significance is subjective, and the phrase, what matters, is too. And it should be. A lot of people argue that our everyday problems are small compared to these large-scale problems like molecular dysfunction, Earth orbiting the sun, gravity, global warming, but small problems don't necessarily have small significance, because that's not how we humans experience the world. We live day to day through our own eyes and our own skin. If I take these flashcards and tap my wrist with them, what my body processes isn't actually what's happening, it's the feeling of the flashcards on my skin. We think, we feel, we experience with our senses and process it with emotions. And that's what I think matters, emotions. What matters isn't really what's happening, because there's lots of stuff happening. That's not even a question. What's really important, what lasts years after years, is our feelings about what's happening. Emotions and compassion, I think, are the most important links among humanity. I mean, we're all just walking around with different DNA and different lives, but we can somehow connect to each other on this very basic level. When I ask my friend how their day was, I'm not just asking it for the pure purpose of it happening, I'm looking for that connection. We live entirely different lives, and we're entirely different people, and our days were different. But if we can identify that and say, yeah, my day sucked, and that's what we're talking about and thinking about and remembering, maybe even for years. Why do people work so hard to invalidate each other's feelings? Because it won't matter in the long run. It's been a pretty long run. 12 years, and I still remember the feeling of those carrots in my mouth. 10 years, when little Maddie pushed me into a locker. 8 years, the first time I beat my dad in a board game. Now, I don't care about carrots or lockers or board games, and I don't expect you to. I care about the tears, cries, laughter, smiles that went into those memories and made them last. Because who cares unless someone cares? Thank you.